I welcome you to my another test. For the next time, this will be again the biggest test one has ever done, and as you may have seen my video on 196A batteries tested, and this test is still going on, mainly the lifetime part, but today we will have a look at 33 9-volt block batteries. Please don't don't calculate the amount of batteries here because it's not 33, because some of the batteries that were in this test are actually still tested right there, so I used my placeholders, or how to call them, so there is more batteries on the table because some of them are still being tested. 9-volt blocks are one of the most uneconomical power supplies, but yet they are still used. We can mostly find them in multimeters. As you can see, all my multimeters that are powered from 9 volts, and I can say that, for example, my M probe eats one 9-volt battery after another. I have to keep feeding it like it was a machine gun. That's because the multimeter is more sophisticated and has a lot of circuitry inside, and all the silicon just needs some juice. Well, actually, bad choice was it for M-probe development team to choose 9-volt, but what can I do? I can keep on feeding it with alkaline 9-volt blocks, costing me yearly around $80, or I can do something about it and reduce the cost of operation to just one single buying of one rechargeable battery, and then just recharging the battery. That doesn't cost me almost anything. Well, actually I don't use my M-probe anymore. I use my Hioki and my Unity. These are my main multimeters, but the M-probe was a great example of multimeter that can ruin your economics, your family economics or whatever, if you use multimeter with 9-volt blocks that is more sophisticated and has greater power consumption. Well, practically I had to feed it one fresh 9-volt battery every 2 weeks. Well, apart from the multimeters, 9-volt blocks are used, for example, in current probes, in non-contact thermometers, in environmental meters, and also in, for example, detectors for metal detectors. Some people who watch my primary check channel have actually been telling me that I could do a 9-volt test, and finally I have done it. And since such test would help people worldwide, because, well, 9 volts aren't just typical for Czech Republic but for the entire world, I have decided to record this English video too. So here we have the test of 33 9-volt batteries. Zinc-carbon or zinc-chloride batteries are one of the oldest type of battery, basically just a little younger than volt cell. These zinc batteries, they are cheap, like dirt cheap. They are lightweight and they usually hold for like 10 to maximum 15 years. Although I have one from Second World War that still has approximately 40% of charge, but, well, they are not made like they used to be before, so. And usually the zinc electrode inside is the first to dissolve and just disappear into the electrolyte, so they die pretty soon, these today zinc-carbon batteries. Talking about this, zinc batteries usually won't leak. There is nothing that would, they are dry cells. But exposing them to moisture, well, this is problem for any battery. Zinc batteries, however, hold very small charge, and their high internal resistance renders them unable to provide high power, and also renders them unsuitable for slightly higher power demands, because the resistance causes power loss, resulting in lower usable capacity. This phenomenon, where the internal resistance actually lowers the usable capacity for higher currents, can be seen, perfectly seen, in my test of 196 AA batteries, where zinc batteries lost most of their capacity at 1 ampere compared to 100 milliamps, for example. So zinc batteries are therefore suitable only for low power devices that are not used that often. This Varta Superlife has the greatest capacity of all zinc batteries, but since zinc batteries have generally lowest capacity of all types, the situation is like in the land of blind. The 1.8 battery is the king. So the blindest of all of them is GP green cell, offering the lowest capacity from already that low capacity range of zinc-carbon batteries. And here in Europe we got Pepco stores in which you can find Pepco but extra with acceptable one-8 capacity for the lowest price. It's basically the generally cheapest 9-volt battery one can get. So if you for some reason need a zinc-carbon battery, Pepco but extra if you are in Europe is the best solution. Alkaline batteries offer beautiful capacity and nicely low internal resistance, allowing them to provide some power actually compared to zinc-carbon. Unfortunately, they have tendency to leak, and they can leak quite catastrophically if you let them. This ugly way. They will leak mostly if being left discharged or if they are really old. Alkalines have one more advantage though, that they can be easily recharged. You can even get plus 150% of additional capacity from them, so it results in having 250% of nominal capacity available through their lifetime. Recharging is always risky, as overcharged alkalines will just bubble out and leak quite heavily. Because of their capacity and lifetime, they are good for devices where we change the battery every 1 to every approximately 3 years. Economically, under a year, it's better to use rechargeable nickel metal hydrides. Alkalines can be used in some CO2 detectors or some multimeters that have low power consumption, so not these two, just these, or any other instruments that fit the power consumption rule. It's quite interesting to see that the same brand can offer differently named batteries, and one would say that they differ heavily because they have absolutely different price and different name, and that they are designed for different use. Meanwhile, their capacities are just so close one to another that I would say the different names are just for different batches, just like Panasonic Alkaline Power, Panasonic Evolta, and Panasonic Pro Power that is currently being tested right there. So I don't have it in my hand. So these differ heavily in price, but not in the capacity. So I don't know what's up with them. If we decide to go for alkaline battery, it's like the sweet spot. And if you are in Europe, visit your nearest Kaufland and buy their branded Kaufland switch-on 9-volt block. Or if you are not in Europe or you don't have Kaufland nearby, you can try your nearest distributor for Duracell and ask him if he has Duracell Procell. And if he would sell it to you, then it's one of the most economical alkaline batteries out there. If you didn't manage to find Duracell Procell, then also Maxell Alkaline and Varta Long Life Power are the backup. The other 9-volt batteries don't bring to the table anything that would make it worth spending more money on a 9-volt block. Their capacities are the same, their price is significantly higher. There is nothing you will get from these Energizers, these classic Duracells and Panasonic and everything. Alkaline 9 volts can be easily recharged, although their lifetime is very short. The best practice would be to push them like 10 to 15 milliamps maximum and keep an eye on them with voltmeter in hand. Primary lithium batteries are these non-rechargeable lithium type that we can find similar lithium batteries in, for example, button cells or some backup batteries. Our typical lithium ion battery or lithium polymer battery or lithium iron phosphate battery, that's totally different story. These we know, these ion phosphate and ion batteries, they are rechargeable or secondary cells. These lithium batteries we are talking about now, I have lost them. These non-rechargeable lithium 9-volt cells are definitely different. They are non-rechargeable officially. These primary lithium batteries have enormous capacity but also enormous price, and that is unfortunately not justified by their capacity. They are, however, very long-lasting and lightweight. If you use requires the highest possible capacity, not thinking about the price, then primary lithium is the way. It can hold up to 15 or 20 years. The best is Varta Ultra Lithium. Well, I don't have the battery on me right now, but the Varta Ultra Lithium is the best of these lithium batteries. It may cost the same as 6 alkalines while having the capacity just like 2 alkalines, but if you go only for the capacity, the highest capacity available, it's your decision. The other two lithium 9V cost about the same, but they have 1/4 lower capacity, just 3/4 the capacity of the Varta. So for the same price, lower capacity, don't buy them, buy the Varta. Primary lithium batteries, being officially non-rechargeable, can be practically recharged. Of course, you take any recharging of any non-rechargeable batteries at your own risk, but you can do it. Nickel metal hydride rechargeable batteries have been around for quite a while, where they practically evolved from nickel cadmium batteries. But they are AA and AAA cells. These are great. I love them. I love rechargeable AA batteries. But these 9V blocks, not that much great. These 9V blocks are made of usually 7 nickel metal hydride cells inside. For example, this GP is made of just 6, and its voltage is not enough for like almost any instrument. They just instantly report low battery, change your battery, even if this battery is fully charged. But the majority of the nickel metal hydrides, they have 7 cells. If you keep cycling your battery, that means charging and discharging and again charging and again discharging, they may disbalance. There is no way of making 7 cells inside perfectly the same to the last atom. So therefore there are small differences in their capacities, and the ones with lower capacity usually have deeper discharge and also higher charge than the another cells with higher capacities. That wears them out more quickly and makes the difference even worse and worse. So the weakest links in the chain become even weaker after time with higher and higher significance until they just drag the whole AcuPack to the grave. These 9V blocks don't have any active balancer. Well, either way it wouldn't fit. So we use trickle charging. 9V batteries are to be charged with low current, approximately 0.1 to 0.05 C. So that's like around 15 milliamps, I would say. Nickel metal hydride technology has the ability to transfer excess energy to heat, but this ability has its limits. The cells won't dissipate heat fast enough to keep with today's fast chargers. So for AA's or AAA's, this isn't a problem, because we can charge them one by one, and the charger can easily detect DV or DT event that indicates the full charge. But 9V blocks consist of many different cells, so the DV event and DT event will not come at the same time for all the cells inside. So therefore we need to use the trickle charge and just leave them on for like 24 hours on the charger. Well, of course we can also trickle charge AA cells and AAA cells with like 200 milliamps approximately, but why would we do it when even 1 ampere doesn't cause them any harm and it's faster? So this is the reason why there will never be fast charging ability for 9V nickel metal hydrides, just like it is for AA or AAA's. And it's the reason why, for example, my Sanyo Eneloop can last 15 to 20 years, while my 9V would last like 10 years max. There is also one more thing into NiMH cells. These need formatting and refreshing. Both can be done by cycling them from discharge to discharge and again with reasonably low current. When a brand new battery arrives and you open it, you should format it. AA's usually take up to 5 cycles maximum, while 9V batteries can require even 7 cycles. Formatting them makes them more tidy and stable inside, so the chemistry is more stable, the electrodes are nicer, more beautiful, and everything is just better. So by formatting them you gain the full capacity even higher, you gain higher power output capability and also lower self-discharge. So if you buy new nickel metal hydride, you should format it by cycling it like 7 times. NiMH batteries also have memory effect, so if you notice that they don't last as long as they used to, give them refreshing approximately 3 cycles, it should be enough. They may recover most of their capacity back. Well, of course, as they age, as they get older and older, they lose the capacity. But memory effect is fully reversible compared to aging. It's like an engine in a car. A worn out engine just can't be saved, but if the car was driven by an elderly driver, who use like 2000 RPM max. The engine would be all dirty and lazy, and giving the engine fresh oil and high octane gasoline and driving it for like 5 hours straight on a highway will make the engine restore many kilowatts of its power back. Same with nickel metal hydrides or nickel cadmiums. Just cycle them like 3 times and the memory effect gets forgotten. They are great for power-hungry devices where we charge the battery very often, like every year and more frequently, like a hungry multimeter if you have M-probe or hot peak. The most economic is Kaufland switch-on and Varta rechargeable. I don't have them right now on my hand because they are just now being tested for cycle life, but you will have the image in the video. They both have approximately 9.3 volts when they are fully charged after being left sitting for a few days. And such a voltage should be enough for most devices. They also both have 200 milliamp hours. Well, it's half than what Alkalines have, and they also cost 3 times more. But still, if you manage to recharge them 6 times while using them, the 7th time is the time when they begin saving you money. Rechargeables are just investment. From these two, from Varta and Kaufland switch-on, I would trust Varta more than the Kaufland, since I already have some preliminary data from my test of cycle life of AA's. And while Eneloops and Vartas hold like a castle, Kaufland switch-on rechargeable cell was at half capacity after just 200 cycles. And after 300 cycles, it has just 1/3 of the nominal capacity, while Varta, power 2100 mAh, has like 17% decrease over 300 cycles. So, assuming the 9V blocks would be at least somehow similar to AA cells in the same company, when it comes to quality, the Varta should have approximately 5 times longer life. But we will see the actual data in the future, as I of course test also these 9V NiMH batteries for cycle life. But this testing would take like a year or so. But you can be sure there will be video about it once I measure all of it. On the other hand, Philips has shown one more time that its NiMH rechargeable batteries are pieces of smoking bubbly shit. The battery has arrived already dead, and I may have managed to get it to state where it may hold some charge, or at least it looks like, but it's actually a zombie. It's dead. It won't give even 1 milliamp hour to you. So don't buy any rechargeable Philips batteries, not even AA's, not 9V blocks. Before we step forward to lithium-ion batteries with electronics in it, let's just talk about charging them nickel metal hydrides or alkalines or lithiums. I realized that if you won't own a charger that would charge 9V batteries, you would decide not to buy any rechargeables because, well, charger would be an investment for you. Well, you can of course find very cheap chargers, but you can also make DIY charger for dirt cheap. It's like 20 or 50 cents per one charger. All you need for it is one dead 9V battery. I recommend getting zinc-carbon batteries because they are not that unsafe to open. If you open alkaline battery, well, there is some electrolyte inside and such. And don't drink it, although it may look delicious. don't drink it. I would recommend opening zinc-carbon batteries because they are less dangerous. Of course, everything you do at your own risk. But if you want to get these contacts, use a zinc-carbon battery like GP Green Cell, Varta Super Heavy Duty, Varta Super Life, anything. From them you get these clips that can serve also as the charger side. Then you need a resistor, approximately 300 or 330 ohms. I used two 150 ohms in a series, I believe, maybe, and some source of 12 volt DC. It may be an old power supply for a router or anything like this. I actually used this DC 5.5 times 2.1 millimeter connector that is used. It's the barrel connector used for 12 volt DC almost anywhere. So it can be connected to like any 12 volt DC power supply. And you may also need hot melt glue, but that's on you. But it gives it quite a durability, sturdiness. So I use this hot melt glue, although it looks like whatever. But it works. And that's the thing, it works. and it's dirt cheap. So all you need is to grab the 12 volts DC, then take a resistor, and the resistor will make the path to the battery clips. The second pole can go directly, of course, or if you have 150 ohms resistors, you can use one resistor for plus and one resistor for minus. Beware, these clips, these 9 volt clips, for the battery side we may be used to that the narrow barrel is plus and the crown is minus. Well, the charger side is exactly opposite. For the charger side, the crown is plus and the narrow barrel is minus. Beware of it. Keep it in mind while making the charger. So this way you can make dirt cheap charger for 9 volt batteries. If you recharge nickel metal hydrides, then it's like trickle charging. If you recharge alkalines or lithium batteries, well, it's your own risk, but I would keep an eye on them with a multimeter in hand so you don't overcharge them. And of course you do it at your own risk. But I have the proof in my table that it works, it can be done. The last battery type is the lithium ion with circuitry inside. It's rechargeable lithium battery, just like the lithium ions, lithium polymer, and this LiFePO4 I have shown you before. I have already disassembled one of them, well, the shittiest of them, because it's worth nothing, because it's a scam a little. So we can have a look at this battery. Inside there is this lithium polymer or lithium ion cell. Well, it was a scam because there is like 1/3 of the battery that should be here, so the rest is just foam. So this battery is worth nothing, so that's why I disassemble it right away. Here we have charging circuitry from micro USB. The charging circuitry charges the lithium polymer battery to the 4.2 volts. It also has tiny BMS or whatever you want to call it, so it has over discharge protection. Then there is the part where step up converter is, and the converter makes 9 or 8 volts approximately from the approximately 3.7 volts from the lithium battery. So there is charging circuitry, so the battery can be charged from USB, and there is the protection, and there is also the step-up circuit to 9 volts. These batteries don't have that great shelf life because the step-up converter in it has low quiescent current, so it consumes some power over time. So it keeps consuming the power, so if you charge it at one time, you may find it absolutely discharged after a month or so. This battery was very prone to that, and also this liter battery was prone to that too. This liter battery also has indicator, so you know when your battery is discharged. Well, since the battery has big self-discharge, then the indicator is there just so you know the battery is discharged once again, like every time. And the neat thing about this battery is that it has USB OTG capability, so it can output 5 volts out of this USB port, just like it was any Android phone that can power like USB flash disk or whatever. But of course the capacity in this battery is very low. But I don't recommend this battery. I recommend this GTF battery. I actually have 4 of them, because one of them is in my thermometer. Come on. So I have 4 of them, and I heavily recommend them. These GTF, they are cheapest, they have the longest shelf life of all the lithium ion batteries with USB, and they have reasonable capacity. Because of their self-discharge and the noise from the step-up converter, these GTF are only useful for high drain devices that need fresh battery every like a month or so, or even less, and their cycle life should be even better than NiMH, because lithium ion cells are used here, and lithium ion technology usually lasts longer than NiMH. The output noise can cause some problems with devices that work with signals and things like that. So we have come to the end of this video. I must say that the test method was giving me trouble for like a month, because I didn't have any laboratory loads that could be acceptably accurate at such a low current as 10 milliamps. I measured the capacities at 10 milliamps. My XY FZ35, well, the 10 milliamps would be at the lowest significant digit, so the current was plus minus approximately 20%. That's no, thanks, no. The DL24, well, it's like the same. The current wasn't that accurate, although it was like plus minus 10%. So I had to use one module, one laboratory load for Mach calculation and constant current sync from LM317. The finite accuracy should keep within plus minus 2%. So I personally hope that this test has been helpful for you, because still many devices are powered from 9 volts up today. This test is going on as I am testing the cycle life of NiMH batteries, just as I do with my AA batteries. This table can be downloaded from the video description. It's in Czech and English language, both simultaneously. If you would like to help me with these tests, or just thank me for it, as it has solved some of your problems and will save you money from now on, you can head to my Czech video about this test, and the video is on my primary Czech channel that has like 22,000 subscribers, and you can use the thanks button there. As my primary channel is monetized, this channel, Backers Technologies, it's still too small to be monetized, so I can't place ads here, I can't place super thanks here or anything like this. So if you want to thank me for it, in the video description there is link for the Czech video, and you can thank me there on my monetized channel, on my primary channel that has 44 times more subscribers or even more. Right now there should appear my test of 196A batteries that I have done, and also link to my original Czech video about this 9 volts, so you can read through translated comments there, or use the super thanks button to thank me. That's all for this video. Goodbye, and see you in another video, most probably the Hioki DD4282. Well, it's not powered by 9 volts. Great.